Gonna be doing this, and then I'm just gonna swap channels. Bollocks. Now we know that the sound is working and all that, we can get to the thingamabob. Okay, this is... We defended every Disney villain to gaslight Disney fans. Don't get me wrong, I like Disney, but I'm not necessarily a huge fan. By Wicked Bridge. Now, I want to see what their defense is for every Disney villain, and I'm going to see what the law would be like if that is the case. Now, I have to address something. I am no law expert. I do not claim to be. This is just pure fun. Okay? After all, he is defending fictional Disney characters. I am trying to disprove his defense. That's it. This is just entertainment and nothing else. So let's sit down, get ready, and do it. Oh, thanks to my editor plus friend who sent me this video, and he didn't necessarily force me, but this video suggestion just forced me to do something like this for the first time. Usually it's either a scary video, a funny video, or an Irasama reaction. So this is different, other than something else, but let's get to it.
The hero, Yzma was right. Hades was just misunderstood, and Mufasa got what was coming to him. So today, we're gonna gaslight Disney fans and defend the actions of every single Disney animation villain. And we're gonna start out with the so-called evil queen from Snow White. And first off, good job poisoning the well with that title. Now, the queen's actions were not some unprovoked act of malice. The queen had a kingdom to manage, a public image to uphold, and a magic mirror telling her someone else had overtaken her in fairest of them all ranking.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him finish his piece, and then I'm going to, you know, put my thoughts into it after.
That's not vanity, that's a PR crisis. Snow White, meanwhile, is off gallivanting with forest animals, freeloading in a cottage that she doesn't pay rent for, and becoming
I have something to say about that quite a lot, to be honest. Speaking as an adult fan when I was a kid. But that's for later.
Loved by the masses for baking pies and smiling, I guess. The queen saw an uprising brewing and acted preemptively. You say that's evil? I say that's governance. That poison apple, that was a symbolic act. You don't rise to power by playing nice in fairy tales. You rise by knowing your worth and weaponizing fruit. Next up is the
Okay. Now, if you think about it, there is a right way and a wrong way to go about things. Giving her the poison apple and convincing her to take it, that is the wrong way to do things. if the evil queen really wants to defend herself, because right now she just committed murder. Oh, hello. Wait, am I quiet? Give me a second. Microphone. Apparently so. How's that? They shouldn't be turned off. I don't know why they are. Okay, goody. Lovely jubbly. So as I was saying, everything what he's saying right now was good, but until she basically gave her that poisoned apple, that's when things went bad. She could... No. Give me a second, I will double check. I'm pretty sure I made it not for kids. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey. I don't know if I can check. I can't. Channel level settings? That can't be it. Push out dashboard? No. And I found it. Stream settings. There we go. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to edit. No, it's set to... It's not made for kids. So, can't be that then. Future place, please. I think the reason why the comments are turned off is because I'm live streaming. So, the comments are going to be the chat. But once I stop doing the chat, or live stream, that's when the comments will turn itself back on. That's my assumption anyway. Because everything seems normal on my end. Yep, I did it. Like I said, everything is normal on my end. Because if I close that out and then yes, I think the reason why comments are disabled is because I'm using live chat right now. What makes sense because I'm live, so thank you. Let me guess, are you going to stay here for the full video or the full stream? It won't last long. It'll last as long as this video is. Speaking of which, get rid of that and then turn this back on. There we go. Woohoo! Okay, so basically, as I was saying, the Evil Queen was doing okay for now. You know, doing everything right, so on and so forth, blah yada yada, until she gave the apple to Snow White. What she should have done differently is learned that Snow White done breaking and entering into someone's house, stealing their food, using their equipment and utensils, and then basically bribing her way out of trouble from the dwarves by offering them, you know, a place to sleep, live, and all that stuff. That's coercion. And then the dwarves are basically associating themselves with crime. So she could have done it the legal way, you know. All is fair and love is war. So, by all accounts, The evil queen is evil. Let's continue.
You rise by knowing your worth and weaponizing fruit. Next up is the coachman from Pinocchio, and yes, we are about to defend the man who literally runs a child-to-donkey conversion scheme. Okay, this might be difficult.
Yeah, I would really like to see how you defend this one, because this one is a really mixed bag. But I might see where he's going to get to it, and I've got a feeling he's going to go to the route that they're not longer human. But who knows? Who knows?
Actually, you know what? No. You know who really failed here? The parents. They let their sons roam unsupervised around the streets, skipping school, smoking cigars, and smashing windows. The coachman didn't create delinquency. He simply capitalized on it. That's not evil. That's entrepreneurship. So let's go to Chernobog from Fantasia. This guy...
Yo. That's it? Just that quickly? Okay, so basically, doing a crime, even though that everyone else is doing crimes, is still a crime. Murder is murder, even if it's self-defense. I'm just saying. Either way, what he did was, he was an adult. So he knew better than all these delinquent kids. And then, instead of just, selling kids off, like, this is fictional, YouTube, I'm not saying anything that resembles anything like this in real life. This is just a fiction, and I'm just reporting and saying my piece on this animated TV show that is done by Disney. And took away their actual human identity, and then, put them into a certain work environment that requires 0 pay and 0 free time. So there is no way to defend his actions, because a bad action plus a bad action equals a bad action. So he's evil.
It's not evil. That's entrepreneurship. So let's go to Chernobog from Fantasia. This guy's not evil, he's atmosphere. The guy lives on a mountain, minds his own business until midnight hits, and he throws the greatest metal concert of all time. Fire, ghosts, skeletons, but they're not hurting anybody. And yeah, I know, some people are gonna say, he's technically the devil. But you know what? Where would we be without moral balance? He has a job to do just like everybody else to keep the natural order in place. Somebody has to do it, and then there's the hunt.
Okay, I haven't seen this, so I can't really say too much about it. But I can't say if these souls and that and stuff are his doing and he just sent them out there and they're hurting people, or he's just taking souls from people like the Grim Reaper does. So I can't really say if he's the bad guy or not, because I haven't seen anything. So let's just say he's on neutral ground for now.
Everybody else to keep the natural order in place. Somebody has to do it. And then there's the hunter, and yes, he shot Bambi's mom. But before you start a riot, let's take a breath and blame the food chain. Guy's a hunter. He needs to feed his family. And
actually, somebody made a point in this. I think it was in a film and that. I'm not sure if it's actually correct or not, though, in law. But there's this like unspoken rule where if you're going to shoot a deer, make sure it's a male one and not a female one, because it might be carrying a child and that. And plus, this way, it helps keep the wildlife still, thriving. That's the whole point of a hunt. So the hunter killing Bambi's mother is pretty much villainy.
this is a forest. Animals hunt each other every day. When a wolf does it, it's survival. But all of a sudden, when a man does it, suddenly it's trauma cinema. And next up on the misunderstood...
Okay, the stepmother. Oh, I've seen a lot of this one. Alright, this is going to be interesting.
List is Lady Tremaine, Cinderella's stepmother, and let's get...
Oh, I should make her part of my gaslighting video as well. Boy, if you're still watching this, make a note of this for me.
One thing straight, she inherited one kid and a crumbling estate. And not to be mean, but the girl talks to mice, sings to bubbles, and refuses to leave the attic. Didn't pay rent, no job.
What do you mean, no job?
And when the prince throws a royal ball, Lady Tremaine just enforces dress code. If your gown magically appeared via pumpkin sorcery, you're violating the enchantment HOA. Now, the Queen of...
Okay, so... let's get this straight. By all rights, the only real thing she does, the stepmother does, that is a criminal act. Oh, of the stepmother from Cinderella, you know, on my gaslighting series. Because she does do a lot of gaslighting in that, so... my thinking with this one is the only one actual law she breaks is kidnapping, perhaps, and probably parent negligence, if that makes sense. I think they're the only two laws she broke, because she locked her in the what's it called, the attic. Granted, she does live there, but locking her in the room with no way to escape if there's a fire, she's dead. Negligence again. And also it would be I'm not sure if it's kidnapping or there might be a specific term for actually locking someone up, holding them hostage, perhaps, maybe. That's another crime. So, as of breaking two laws, everything else is pretty much, you know, negligent parenting.
One kid and a crumbling estate. And not to be mean, but the girl talks to mice, sings to bubbles, and refuses...
And probably stealing as well, because I think she stole the inheritance of Cinderella. But that could have been the darker version from the Disney one.
To leave the attic. Didn't pay rent, no job, and when the prince throws a royal ball, Lady Tremaine just enforces dress code. If your gown magically appeared via pumpkin sorcery, you're violating the enchantment HOA. Now, the Queen of Hearts, she's not evil, she's just efficient. Wonderland is a lawless, chaotic fever dream where time doesn't exist. Animals host tea parties, and logic takes a permanent vacation. Amidst all that, the Queen of Hearts is the only one with a system. Now, is it violence? Sure, but at least she has some semblance of order. What's your...
Okay, now this one is a difficult one. She is technically and legally, by all rights, allowed to do anything she wants because she is the Queen of Wonderland. She makes the rules, she enforces the rules, so she is... well, she is the ruler of the rules, so... this one, I could really say that there is no defense on why she's evil, except for on moral grounds. But legally, she's pretty much fine, so this one I give you a pass on. Congratulations.
Is it violence? Sure, but at least she has some semblance of order. What's your alternative? Let Wonderland be run by a lunatic like the Mad Hatter or that sociopathic cat? She's not a villain. She's a woman running a monarchy in a world where gravity is optional and tea parties last 6 years. You would be cutting off heads too. Now, Captain Hook, I'm gonna say, is just a victim of a flying maniac with Peter Pan syndrome in the most literal sense. Hook was...
Now, this one is an interesting one. A very interesting one. Because... let's see what else he has to say.
Was minding his own business, doing pirate stuff, when this hyperactive weirdo cut off his hand and fed it to a crocodile. And now that crocodile stalks him like it's a horror movie, while Peter Pan dive bombs his ship and mocks his trauma. If anything, Hook's only crime is wanting revenge on the flying degenerate in tights who maimed him and won't stop taunting him from the sky. The poor guy just wants 15 minutes of peace before Tinkerbell flashbangs the room again. Now,
Okay, so I don't remember the story of this properly, but if we're just going by generic pirate settings and stuff like that, by all accounts, the real villain, if we're just going by off what he said, is Peter Pan is the evil one. And to be honest, taking away children, that is pretty evil. So, but a pirate is still a pirate. And if they're breaking the law, they're breaking the law. Piracy is, well, I wouldn't say piracy, but being a pirate is usually an outlaw. Someone who is out of the law. But who knows, he could have just been a normal sailor or general. I don't have too much information, but the real villain is Peter Pan here, to be honest. Taking away children with no moral high ground and that.
Syndrome in the most literal sense. Hook was minding his own business, doing pirate stuff, when this hyperactive weirdo cut off his hand and fed it to a crocodile. And now that crocodile stalks him like it's a horror movie, while Peter Pan dive bombs his ship and mocks his trauma. If anything, Hook's only crime is wanting revenge on the flying degenerate in tights who maimed him and won't stop taunting him from the sky. The poor guy just wants 15 minutes of peace before Tinkerbell flashbangs the room again. Now, Maleficent, yes, she did curse a baby, but
okay, this is going to go into a territory that law might not be unacquainted here.
Let's rewind. This wasn't about a missed invite. It was about diplomatic protocol. She's literally the most powerful being in the land, and they snubbed her from the royal christening. Context, people. That's not bad manners. That's an act of war. And Maleficent gave...
Not really. If they are the owner of this particular kingdom, then by all accounts they are allowed to have the right to refuse anyone from entering that kingdom.
Gave 16 years notice. She showed up in person, made the terms very clear, and even left a loophole the good fairies could exploit. Just legally binding dark fairy arbitration. Now, when it comes to Cruella...
Okay, the thing is, the only crime I can see is breaking and entering, that's one, and disturbing the peace, because she basically disturbed the peace as well. And three, doing harm to a child. Wait, is Maleficent the one who put Sleeping Beauty asleep? By making her prick her finger on like a sewing wheel or something? Or am I misremembering? Thank you. Now that could be another part, so harm to an adult as well. No wait, she's 15, so, but technically they're in medieval times, so she would be counted as an adult at that point in time. So yeah. Pretty much she is evil.
She showed up in person, made the terms very clear, and even left a loophole the good fairies could exploit. Just legally binding dark fairy arbitration. Now, when it comes to Cruella de Vil,
Oh no.
I was saying, okay, how are you going to defend the woman that wanted to make a fur coat out of puppies? Well, let's not act like she's the only fashion mogul doing questionable things for outerwear. In her own mind, she was a visionary, a trendsetter. And those Dalmatians, they weren't exactly saints. They trashed her house, stole a truck, and chewed her furniture. And also, 101 dogs, that is a hoarding situation. And in the end, did she actually harm a single dog? No, not one. She just had ideas. What, are we locking people up for ideas now? Oh, madam.
Locking people up for ideas. Maybe in 2025, yes, but now? I mean, then? Probably not. But she basically broken and entering. That's a crime, an illegal one. She took people's property, and that includes animals as well. Animal cruelty, because you're basically putting the puppies in distress and unsuitable conditions as well and stuff like that, for the sake of making a fur coat out of them. So there's a lot. And then you have reckless driving. There's that. Attempted murder, because I can remember she tried to run a truck driver off the road, I'm pretty sure. So there's that as well. So yeah, she's pretty much a bad guy. I'm sorry, but you can't defend that one.
And in the end, did she actually harm a single dog? No, not one. She just had ideas. What, are we locking people up for ideas now? All Madame Mim really does is challenge Merlin to a wizard duel. And yeah, she cheats, but so would you if you could turn into a dragon and had zero consequences. She doesn't want power, she doesn't want money, she just wants to be weird in her swamp and occasionally turn into a terrifying monster. She's not a villain, she's just a cottagecore menace. Sure can, this one's easy.
Okay, as for these two, I got nothing. I don't know why she was classed as a villain, to be honest. Thinking about it. Maybe because she was trying to eat someone. Boy, did the witch, did she try to eat the little boy who got turned into a bird? Or do something like nasty to him? Because that's what I'm thinking. Please let me know. Because I'm pretty sure that's the reason why Merlin decided to... Boop. Yeah. She's tried to bloody kill a human who got transformed into a bird. I remember this correctly. And the human bird, the boy, was shouting, "Merlin, Merlin, Merlin." And then Merlin came in and challenged her to a magical duel, I think. So by all accounts, she tried to murder someone. And murder is a crime last time I checked. And in a magical duel as well, at this point, it is murder. Even if it's a duel, it's still murder.
Monster. She's not a villain. She's just a cottagecore menace. Sure can.
She's still a villain.
This one's easy. He's not a villain. He's a tiger. A literal meat-eating apex predator. You know?
Yeah, I agree with this one. To be honest, he is a tiger. He's just doing what tigers do. So I can't say anything about this one. So we're going to skip. Okay, now we're going on to a different animal. A lion instead of a tiger.
An extraordinary performance.
But then
I have to say though, his voice actor, fucking brilliant. Aww, okay, bye bye.
we get to Prince John from Robin Hood. And before
Oh.
you come at him for taxing the poor, let's be honest. Someone's got to collect. He's running a kingdom. Roads, guards, royal banquets, none of that pays for itself. Prince John was doing the responsible thing, making sure everybody chipped in. Oh, Robin Hood stole from the rich? Thanks a lot, communist. But Prince John taxed everybody. That's equality. Okay, madam.
Okay, legally, he was doing nothing wrong. The only problem I see is probably a breach of power. But that's my only thinking. But considering he's the king, there is no breach of power because there is only, one rule, and that is to follow the rule of the royal family at that point in time. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot, communist. But Prince John taxed everybody. That's equality. Okay, Madame Medusa kidnapped a kid. That's not ideal. But hear us out. She was desperate. She's living in a decaying riverboat.
I haven't seen this for God knows how long, but I do remember some parts of it. And kidnapping a kid, regardless of the intention, is still a crime last time I checked.
Running a sketchy antique scam and chasing one big score to finally escape her Florida swamp nightmare. She's just aggressively ambitious with no HR department. And yeah, she made Penny crawl into a creepy pirate cave, but that's called outsourcing. What, you
No. Wait, I'm pretty sure she manipulated her as well. I'm not sure if the girl was actually a what's it called? An orphan, and she adopted her just to put it into that. If she did, then and got it legally, sorry, then by all means. The only problem is child negligence and child abuse and so on and so forth. But if she didn't obtain her legally, what I'm pretty sure she didn't, but I could be wrong, then just add kidnapping on top of that. So, yeah.
think you're better than her? Look up how your iPhone is made. Okay, Amos Slade, he's a hunter. Todd...
This one's an interesting one. I don't think people classed him as a villain. I think they classed him as an antagonist.
Todd is a wild animal who keeps sneaking onto his property and causing emotional damage to his fragile dog, Chief. Slade didn't start this war. He was just ready to finish it with a shotgun and a legally questionable bear trap. Okay, we finally get...
Okay, we have a lot of laws in place in England for that. And by all accounts, the farmer does have legal right to kill someone's animal on their land if it starts disrupting their farm animals. Morally, it's wrong, and most farmers nowadays don't do that. They hold them up, put them in a box or something like that, and then wait for the owners to come and fetch them and that and stuff, and then get the owners to reimburse them for the stuff. But back in the past, even if it's a fox pet, if they're on their farm, dead. So, yep, there is no legal law against that. The only time he breaks the law is what I remember, because he even said so, is when he went into a wildlife reserve, a protective area to protect wildlife. And I remember him sneaking in and snapping the barbed wires to get in there. So basically, he is breaking and entering and doing illegal hunting at that point in time. So,
get to the Horned King from the Black Cauldron. And I know what you're all saying.
I seen the
You
Black
can't
Cauldron.
possibly defend this guy. But hear me out. He's a visionary. This guy isn't causing chaos for fun. He's trying to unify the world under one spooky, bone-covered regime. And honestly, the kingdom in that movie was falling apart anyway. He's not evil, he's ambitious. The man had a plan, a castle, and a cauldron. That right there is project management. He even outsourced the undead labor. That's efficiency. And this dude's been dead inside since birth. So raising an army of skeletons, that's just him building community. I mean, what a good neighbor, am I right? Now time to go.
Okay, basically he committed a lot of war crimes, because even in D&D settings, necromancers are considered, you know, bad people for doing what they are allowed to do by law in the D&D law. And to be honest, raising the dead in normal human law, if you have the ability to, is against the law. So by all accounts, and then you got invasion, forcing people to accept his rule and rule only. So there's a lot of rules breaking in this one. So no, I'm sorry, but you can't defend his actions on this one.
Go under the sea and talk about Ursula. So let's rewind. Ariel is a teenage hoarder who's obsessed with a random guy that she saw once, and her solution is to run away from home, abandon her culture, and sell her voice like she's at a pawn shop. In Ursula, she lays out a crystal clear contract. No hidden fees, just you give me your voice, I give you legs, you get the prince in 3 days, or the deal's off. That is a fair trade. That's better terms than my gym membership.
Life's full of tough choices, isn't it?
Ursula is just an ocean lawyer, and Ariel is a girl who clicks I agree to the terms and conditions without reading anything, and then acts shocked when her iPhone backs up to the cloud. And when did she take things too far? It was only after Ariel tried to cheat the deal. You don't get to ghost a sea witch and walk away scot-free. Ursula was just the deep sea version of Judge Judy. But now,
To be honest, you got a point there, but then when she decided to attack them, that's when things went from in her favour to law to against her in the law. Okay, if you heard that noise, that's my OBS decided to disconnect and reconnect because of my shitty internet. Sorry about that. But basically, Ursula, she did everything right. Until she hit fuck's sake. Alright, I got some good news and got some bad news. The bad news is that my internet keeps on disconnecting and that and stuff, so I'm going to wait for another minute or two, see if it disconnects, and I got a feeling it will. And if it does, then, well, this is going to be the end of the stream, because I can't continue streaming. Okay, I'm going to leave it here because I left it for a minute and it got disconnected. So, goodbye, farewell, and I'll see you all next time. Cheerios!